this is Liz Coley, and welcome back to Undercover Reading. We're on the moon. We are reading The Captain's Kid, Chapter 5, Part 2. Alone at last. Audrey grabbed my hand. So now what? Any good holos playing? I swallowed. Actually, I was wondering if you'd like to go for a drive. More driving? She asked in a small voice. Oh, well, I was thinking of taking you outside. Her pupils dilated in alarm. Outside the habitat? Is that safe? Of course. The outside carts are vacuum tight and they've got emergency suits. Emergency suits? She dropped my hand. Why'd they have emergency suits if it's safe? This wasn't how it was supposed to go. I shuffled my feet. You always have to have emergency suits. Outside in case of an emergency. It's common sense. Look, we don't have to if you don't want to. My voice was rising to squeak level. I sucked air and calmed myself. Sorry. I just thought there's this new construction site for a new hab we could drive out to, and there's a full Earth out tonight, and all the stars and all. Audrey crossed her arms. Yeah, okay. That sounds kind of interesting. Interesting. Great. It was supposed to sound exciting, unique, maybe even romantic. Did you say something? She asked. No, that was just me sighing. No, yeah. What size do you wear? 4. Why? For the emergency suit. Right. Our 2 suits lay intimately tangled in the back seat. As soon as I steered us through the North Gate exit lock tube, the vast lunar sky opened up. 100 billion stars shined down, unblinking. The full Earth gleamed above the horizon, and right on cue, Audrey gasped and threw her arms around me. Thank you! Thank you for making me do this! I had no idea. It's so incredibly beautiful. So are you, I wanted to say, but my tongue was tied. I tried not to run us off the hardpack road, cursing my 2 hands on the wheel rule. I couldn't hug her back. Should have planned to see this from an observation port. Audrey released me and pressed her hands against the front window. And I thought Earth's night sky was beautiful. There's 1,000 times more stars from here. Can we stop? Not here on the road, I said, but as soon as we get to the construction site, we'll park and get out. Get out? On the moon? Really? Audrey's eyes sparkled with anticipation. Earth gleamed in the sky. I glowed with happiness. This was working out perfectly. I drove at a careful 20 clicks per hour, so our trip to the suburbs took only 15 minutes. I parked next to a construction truck, materials strapped down tight in the back for unloading in the morning. Time to suit up, I commanded. We shimmied into the suits awkwardly in the cramped cab, all elbows and knees crashing. I safety checked my suit, then hers, and explained the helmet procedure so she could double check mine. I synced helmets so we could talk. Finally, I released the environmental lock on the cart. Heat and air whooshed out into the vacuum of space. Stay seated, I ordered, and came around to her side to help her out, with a gloved hand on her elbow. Be super careful, I warned over the helmet comm system. Walk gently so you don't bounce right off your feet. Audrey took one tentative step, then retreated and bent her head to the ground. Oh my God, she whispered. What's the matter? I asked. Nervous? Look at that. She was sniffling. Look at that footprint. I made a footprint on the moon. Her voice cracked and her arms wrapped around me loosely. This is the most amazing, wonderful day of my life. I feel like I could fly. I think that's the low gravity effect. I wished I could see her expression through the protected, mirrored viewplate. I think that's the Brandon Webb effect, she replied, leaving me speechless. I gulped and leaned my helmet against hers. Again cursed my plan and my timing. So many layers of metalloplastic between us. Dang! My watch comm chimed, but in the suit and gloves I couldn't answer it. Not that I wanted to break the moment anyway. Ready to try walking? I asked. Sure, okay. Audrey stepped gingerly away from me. How? I gave her a quick lesson in low-G bunny hopping, and after a few mishaps, she caught the general idea. I slowed my lunges so she could keep up alongside me. We explored, always keeping the hab and cart in sight for safety. "This is so much fun," she gasped. "I could do this all night, especially after that giant ice cream." "Me too. But the suits are only good for 2 hours of air. We've been out here for, over an hour. We should head back." Figuring driving time, we'd have only half an hour till Audrey's parents got back to the inn. I'd better have her home and waiting. We re-entered the cart, sealed it, and waited for the environmental controls to repressurize the cabin. "Okay to unsuit," I advised. We squirmed out of the suits and tossed them in the back. Audrey's hair fluffed in the static halo around her face. My watchcom chimed again. "That's weird. It's Dad, from the ship, routed through LunaWeb." I tapped accept, wondering what was up. It took an extra effort to place a ship-to-ground call. "Spidey, it's Dad," he said unnecessarily. "Is everything okay?" Sure, Dad. I just talked to you this morning. Everything's fine. Why?" "Had to check," he said briskly. "I just got a strange... Are you sure everything is okay? You're safe at home with Manda?" I made an uh-oh face at Audrey. "Well, almost. We went out to dinner." That was true. "Okay, kiddo. I'd like you to get home ASAP just in case." In case what? I was beginning to feel like a program in an endless loop. In case, in case, in case. "Never mind. Just take care, okay? Love you, Spidey." You too, Dad. Bye." I caught Audrey trying to hide her smile behind a hand. "Spidey?" "Oh, blast, you heard that. A goofy nickname. But now you know my secret identity. I must make sure you never leave this place alive. Wahaha." "Cute," she responded. "Okay, we're out of here." I turned back to the controls and readouts. My pulse sped up at news from the power gauge. "That's odd." "What?" "Power's low." "So what does that mean?" Audrey asked. "You left the lights on?" "No, I didn't. Double dang." "No, it means suit up, now." I dragged her emergency suit over the back seat. "Fast. The environmental system's draining too much power. We won't have enough juice for driving, as well as heat and oxygen. So heat and oxy have to go." Yeah, nice joke, Spidey. "How about if I promise not to reveal your secret identity?" She didn't get it. "I'm not kidding, Audrey. Suit up as fast as you can." My voice cracked with tension. "We've got some kind of power malfunction." Power equals life. We learned that equation in nursery school. Her mouth tightened into a hard, worried line. She pulled the suit over her legs. "Can you fix it?" "Unfortunately, I'm not an engineer." I snugged the glove fittings over her wrists as soon as her sleeves were on. "Pardon my hands, but I can do this faster." I sealed and checked her front closures. What happened?" Her voice shook. "I don't know. The card showed a 10-hour charge when we checked out." I had my own suit and helmet on in less than the standard 15-second drill. Then I lowered Audrey's helmet over her worried face. "Are you going to call your father back?" she yelled. I activated the helmet comm with my cheek. "No time. It's only a 15-minute drive back. 10 if I push it. I'm turning off the environmental system now. Don't worry. We'll be fine." Audrey's voice sounded tiny in the helmet speaker. "Okay, if you say so." With heat and air off, the electric motor purred like a cat. Thank God that's all it was. "All set, let's roll." I added confidence to my voice for her sake, but the problem nagged at me. Outside carts got priority maintenance. I'd never, ever heard of a breakdown. And we were fully charged only 90 minutes ago. Strange things were happening. Again. And I didn't like it, not one bit. I drove faster than before, much faster. In 10 minutes, the North Gate airlock came into sight. "Honey, we're home," I joked and hid my sigh of relief. "Oh, good," Audrey said, her voice still quavering. I signaled for the lock to open. Nothing happened. I pressed the dashboard signal more firmly. Glove fingers were awkward, but I had definitely pressed. Still nothing. With the other hand, I activated the cart comm system and... nothing. No link to base. Dang. "Come in. Anyone come in?" I called on the helmet comm, all frequencies. But that would only work if someone else was outside, nearby, and within line of sight. I had to try, though. Third time's the charm? I pressed again. "What's the holdup?" Audrey asked. "The dang door's ignoring us." "We're having technical difficulties, I'm afraid." You're afraid? You're afraid? Then I'm terrified. Now will you call your father? Yes, I will definitely call my father. I slid my arms out of the sleeves and pulled my head in like a turtle, trying to get close enough to see the watch comm. This was a huge flaw in the system, not being able to use a watch comm when emergency suited. Of course, the cart comm was supposed to work. I tapped on voice mode. LunaWeb requesting priority communications link to orbiting vessel reliable, passenger Captain Gordon Webb, number 6567720, password Webman3238. The computer voice spat back. Access denied, password unrecognized, try again. Verbal input left no room for typos. Password Whiskey Echo Bravo Bravo Mike Alpha November 3238, I clarified. I'm sure that was my last LunaWeb password. Positive. That stupid robotic voice shot me down again. Access denied, password unrecognized, try again. Audrey sat dead still beside me. Dang, did she hear that over the helmet comm? I tapped off our head-to-head connection and ran through all my old passwords, even my new shipboard password. Nothing worked. I suddenly had a dreadful flashback to the luggage room when my comm went bad. It might be transmitting something completely different from what I was saying. I reopened our channel. Hey, Audrey. Thank God she couldn't see the sweat rolling down my temples. Can I maybe borrow your watch comm? I left it at the hotel. It looked too bulky with this shirt. Why? Dang. We were going to die because of a fashion crisis. I steadied my voice and said as calmly as possible under the circumstances, It seems mine isn't working. Oh my gosh! Audrey's voice shot up to high C. What can we do? Can we drive to another airlock? Oh, brilliant, I said with a gust of breath. Audrey, that's a brilliant idea. We have another 45 minutes of air, and the next lock is 10 minutes away. We can do that. She pulled her knees up to her chest and hugged them. She whispered to herself, 45 minus 10 is 35. We're fine. Brandon says we're fine. Of course I heard every word, along with her short, tight breaths. I got there in 5 and prayed that this airlock would work properly. No one was in sight. I pressed the call button to start the airlock cycle. No response. I put my helmet against hers, wishing with all my heart that I could see her face, make eye contact, offer some kind of support. This one's broken too, isn't it? She said, and after a pause, No, it's the cart, right? I swallowed the uncomfortable lump in my throat. Why, oh, why hadn't I told Dad I was outside the hab when he called? What the heck was wrong with me? He said he was worried, and because I was AWOL, I'd held back the truth. Okay, lied. And now I was in deep trouble, and I dragged Audrey into it with me. My heart shrank to a small black rock. Audrey whacked her helmet against mine. Brandon, what do we need to do? Focus. It's the cart. Leave the cart. And then I knew what we had to do. A long shot, but our best shot. If I've got my bearings, about half a click away there are a bunch of restaurants with windows on the moonscape. We just need to get out there and walk along the windows to get someone's attention. Got it, she said bravely. By the way, what's this blinking number 17 and my head's up? My stomach cramped. 17 minutes of air left? How could she be using her air so fast? Oh, all that bouncing around, plus she'd been hyperventilating for the past 10 minutes. I checked my air. 35 minutes. Great. Turn your back to me, please. I need to check your gauge, make an adjustment. While she faced away, I linked my oxy into hers and pressed purge control for a count of 15 and disconnected. What's it say now? I asked. It says 37. Good. The sensor was stuck. That's all, I lied. You've got 37 minutes of oxygen. My readout was now flashing 14 at me in an alarming manner. I'd lost some in the transfer. Let's move. I punched the accelerator and jounced along the circumference road until the first picture window. I hurried out of the cart. Audrey behind me, stumbling to regain her balance. I ran to the window and pressed my faceplate against it. Empty. What time is it anyway? Dang, an hour to midnight on a work night. Who would still be lingering over supper at this hour? I fought the rising panic and dashed to the next restaurant. Same story. Third restaurant, one lone waiter was setting tables for the next day. I jumped up and down and banged the 4-inch thick composite window. He didn't even turn his head. A large red 8 flashed in my peripheral vision. My heart sank. I did the math. Audrey still had 31. On to the next restaurant, and the next, and the next. Either the lights were off or everyone was working, far from the windows. No one noticed the maniac holding his breath and jumping with all of his strength at the window. My mind spun wildly, dizzy with fear or lack of oxygen, or both. I tried to calm down, tried not to breathe, tried to ignore the large blinking 0 in my eyes. I imagined Karthik, his white grin like a beacon in the dark. I moved toward the grin, toward the light. Karthik's face grew larger and larger in my vision until I smacked into the window and slid down hard to the ground. Audrey's screams for help were muffled by the cottony thickness in my ears. She jumped up and down frantically now for both of us. "Don't waste your breath," I wanted to say, but it was much too hard to form words, much too hard to get up and join her, too hard. Maybe if I took a nap, I'd feel better. Could jump with her later. Yeah, later. That would be better, I thought, much better, as my vision flashed white, gray, black. Please come back for the next episode.